Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Dina and it is the 6th of July. It is a Tuesday evening and today I actually started stitching on one of my Christmas in July pieces. It's not a true Christmas piece. It just reminds me of Christmas because of the snow. But it's Giggles in the Snow. And I finished up all the bottom of her skirt. There was quite a bit of this in here that hadn't been done. And then I got both of her socks done as well. I actually put in 594 stitches or something like that today to get that done. So now what I have left on her are her shoes. And then I'll be doing these little snow shadows around both of their feet to show that they're doing the snow angels. And then, in addition to a little bit of back stitching, there's not a lot in here. There is some, but not a whole lot. Then I will do the beading and I'll have this one finished. So my friend Glow and I stitched together today and she asked me, did I plan on finishing this one this month? And I wish I could. I really do. But I don't think I'm going to be able to. With the move that we have going, I won't have enough stitching time to really give any of my whips a lot of attention. So I think what I'm going to do is stitch a little bit on them, like this one today. I got a great deal of stitching this afternoon. I worked really hard this morning. So I have packed 6 boxes today in this sewing room just to get everything out of my storage areas other than what's left in my closet, which are my current whips for the year, my new starts for Whip Go, my fabrics, and my stash of patterns that are in a basket, a big basket. So my next task that I'm going to try to do either tonight or in the morning is to go through all of my Whip Go starts, and because I don't know what it'll be called in August, and I may still be setting up everything in August in my new home. So I want to have everything I have to get started in with my current whips. And I very well may pack away the things I've already stitched on, like I stitched on Pandemic, which I just started working on a video to upload, and I showed Pandemic in that, and now I've stitched on Giggles in the snow, so I may go ahead and pack it away. I have a nice big long under the bed, literally that's what it is. It's an under the bed Tupperware box, or plastic box. I'm hoping to get as many of them in there as I can. But my thoughts are to take the ones that I've already stitched on this month and put them in there, and then keep out the ones that I'm going to be working on the rest of the month. And then I can just take those in my car because we're just going across town. So we'll see how that goes. But I need to play in my stash a little bit before I pack it up. That's what I'm saying. So I'm really tickled that I got some progress on Giggles. I had hoped to get her finished. I had hoped to finish her feet. But her boots are quite confetti heavy. And I may leave it out for one more day if I'm in the mood for it tomorrow and I get time to stitch. I may pull it out and work on her shoes. We'll see. But there's also a problem of the fact that I get to go to a stitching meetup this Saturday and stitch with my friends, and I need something easy to take with me. And I just finished WOOF, my block party, and I finished my ribbons and threads, so my easy travel pieces are done. So I need to start something new, and I've got 2 brand new starts for my Whip Go, and one of them is Dog Lessons for People, and I think that would be a great piece to take with me to stitch on Saturday. So I kind of wanted to get that started tomorrow for my Whip Go board and see how that goes, and get it ready for Saturday. I hope you are having a wonderful time with your stitching. I just want to thank you for letting me wax on for, ad nauseum about how excited I am about our new home. We have been looking for over a year before the pandemic. So we've been looking for about 2 years. When we purchased this home when we first moved here, we thought it would be temporary. It was just to get us here. And we, thought we'd be here about a year, maybe two. We put a lot of work in the house. It needed some TLC. We put a lot of work in the house and got it ready, and then pandemic hit. So it seems like a long time coming. So thank you for letting me tell you all about it in my last video. And hopefully all you'll hear about in here now is when we're moving and that now we're in the new house. That's what I'm hoping to share with you. Not so much detail, and I'm sure you don't need to know everything I pack every day. Anyway, had an injury packing already. Have crammed my hand into a wall as I was carrying a box. Couldn't see where the wall was. In our master bath, we have a wall around the garden tub or whatever. I walked right into it. It hurt. Anyway, I'll have a nice bruise and swollen spot there for a few days. But it's all worth it. I hope you are healthy. I hope that you are doing extremely well getting about. If you're able to start getting out and about, I know several of my friends that I stitch with virtually have not been able to do that yet and are just beginning to, and they're so excited. So I hope that your restrictions are being lifted. I hope that you're going to be able to travel some, at least to see your family and friends. So those are my wishes for you. In the meantime, until we speak again, happy stitching. Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Dina. It is Friday. It is July 9th, and I'm here with a little bit of an update for you. Well, my Whip Go numbers were both new starts this month, and so I decided that one of them would be a great one to get started on because I planned on taking it to my Saturday stitching meetup. That's this Saturday here in Gainesville. And so I grabbed my Dog Lessons for People by Lizzie Kate. And on my Whip Go board, my goal is to do the entire first line of this project. So I got it out yesterday and I got started on it, and I stitched the first, 400 and something stitches for a prompt. And then I decided, well, I'm pretty close to finishing that line. And so I came in here today and I did that. So here's the beginning of my Dog Lessons for People. You may recognize this fabric because I used this fabric for my Halloween piece, the two little boys running at Halloween. And it's called Bittersweet, and it is Bittersweet Light, actually, L-I-T-E. It is a Joblin, and this one is a 32 count Bittersweet Light. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's a picture of this plus. I can't remember, but I think it is. So there you have it. That's the first line, and the Whip Go goal is met. Doesn't mean I won't take it with me on Saturday and keep going, but at least I know I've met another Whip Go goal for the year, so I'm excited about that. I'm going to go ahead and sign off pretty quickly this morning because, as you know, we're getting ready to move, and we have a truck coming today to pick up some donated furniture, some larger items that we're not taking with us, and they'll be here pretty soon, and so I have to get ready for that. But I may get to come back and stitch later this afternoon. If I do, I'll come back and share it with you. But in the meantime, happy stitching. Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Dina. It is Monday, July 12th. I have a bit of an update for you, a little bit of stitching, a little bit of life update, a little bit of happy mail, just all kinds of bits and pieces that I want to give you. And pardon me for being so casually attired today, but we're packing. And so I'm in jeans and an old t-shirt that was my son's practice jersey when he was in high school. I inherited it. Anyway, I wanted to let you know that I have been busy getting ready to move, packing a lot. In fact, if you saw the other side of my sewing room, you'll notice all the pictures are missing here and here. The other side of that room is completely empty. The credenza's gone. All the pictures are gone. They're all in one room, ready to be wrapped and bound for the trip across town. Anyway, I have been getting very little stitching in, but I have been getting some. So it was quite a treat Saturday when we had a stitching meetup here in Gainesville. There were 19 of us who gathered. It was fabulous, and we had the most fun. There were new people who had never been able to come before, who found out about it through our Georgia Stitchers Get-Togethers Facebook group, or the newsletter for the library or their Facebook page. They advertise it for us. And so we had some new people there that we hadn't met before, and it was such a delight to get to know them. I also will tell you I got a fabulous surprise. Pardon me turning to get this. One of the ladies who came to stitch brought this lovely gift for me, and she said if I didn't want it, if it wasn't my taste or something I didn't want to do, then I could save it for a door prize, because I had announced we were going to have some door prizes. And this is what she brought. Year at Hawk Run Hollow. Beautiful. I don't have any Hawk Run Hollows yet. And I've been looking and looking, and I just couldn't figure out which one I wanted. And so now I don't have to worry about it. Thank you so much. You're so kind and so thoughtful. And so I snatched it right up. I said, yes, I would love to have that. We had door prizes. I had contributed a few because I've been going through my sewing room, and there were things that I knew I wouldn't necessarily be using anytime soon, and somebody else could really benefit from them. And so I took some things to share, and I had put the word out that there were going to be a few door prizes, and so people contacted me and said they wanted to contribute to that. And oh my goodness, they brought such nice things. I was so tickled. Our group is so generous. So we had a great day. While we were there, a lady who had seen the announcement about the stitching day on the library's newsletter showed up with 2 grocery bags full of stash. She isn't stitching any longer, she's crocheting. And she said she went through her closet and found all this beautiful fabric and older patterns, but that's what she called them, older patterns. But she thought somebody might enjoy them, and she said, I didn't want to just throw them away. And oh, you know, heaven forbid, don't throw away anything that's fabric, you know. She brought it, and it just thrilled some of the people that were there, because we had new stitchers there and they could add to their stash. It was so fun. It was a great day. I thoroughly enjoyed myself and getting to know people and meet new people and see people I haven't seen since before the pandemic. It was amazing. Anyway, in addition to a lot of visiting, I did a little stitching. This is Dogwood lace, and it was actually a gift from a woman who came to the stitching meetups early on. Her name is Jennifer, and she drove a long way to get there, and she came with the intent of presenting me with a little present. She had come from the town that I had moved from, where I had started a stitching group, and then, you know, I moved right after she found it. So she wanted to thank me, I guess, and gave me this pattern, the fabric, and the threads. And I've had it for a couple of years. Hadn't been able to fit it into my stitching because I had so many gifts and things already lined up. So this year when I decided for my whip go board, I thought this has to be on it. I want to be able to start this year. And the number 12 is where I put it, and it was called in July. So I took this Saturday to get started on it. And I'm actually stitching this on a beautiful, beautiful Lugana. It's 32 count cream Lugana. And the threads, that's what I was turning a moment ago. I realized I didn't have my threads out to show you. My threads are an overdyed thread. And they are baked apple. So pardon the crinkling. I have them in a Ziploc bag to keep them from getting wet. And I'll show you what they look like. They're so beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? Baked apple. So I started this at the stitching meetup on Saturday because my goal on my whip go board is to stitch one row across the top. So I've gotten started on my row across the top, and I discovered that this is going to be a little bit tricky to determine what is a row. So I think I'm going to consider this border my row all the way across the top. If I do the border all the way across the top, I'll consider that I've met my goal. And I got a good start on that at the library. Not a ton, but we were talking and visiting, and that's what I spent my time doing, really. But I got a little start on it, and I will keep it close at hand, and I will pick it up and work on it as we're moving, because with it being monochromatic, it's an easy one as a travel piece. You know, it's easy to take it with you. So the next thing I want to share with you is what I stitched on. That was Saturday. And then Sunday, I had something special. My friend Glo, that I talk about quite often, who lives in Spain, she had a birthday on the 11th. Happy birthday, Glo. I hope you had a great, great day. And so for her birthday, she asked if I would do a new start with her. And I said, of course. And she had picked out our story. Brenda Gervais, you know how much we love Brenda Gervais. And I love this one because I think it's so similar in the styling of these Project Quarantine, the Stay Home and Stitch. And so I decided to do mine in some similar type colors. Mine's not going to be quite as prim as this one. So I'll share with you my color palette here. It's not overly bright, but I put in a little bit of the pomegranate and a little bit of the used brick. And for the flowers, I'm using vintage lace. So they're muted colors, but they're not quite as prim as you have here. And I'm actually going to make my house out of used brick because my new house we're moving to is brick. And I want it to look like that. So Glo, here's my start. Happy birthday. I got my M done on home. Started in the center right up here and got my M finished. So really happy with that. So that I'll have to put away for a day or two until I can get some other things done. But I think it's time for a Whip Go board update. Since I mentioned Whip Go a while ago, I want to show you. Look how much I've done on here. I'm pretty excited. You'll see that my dog lessons for people, I had to get one line complete, which I did. So I was able to glue that in right away. Here is my Dogwood lace, and this is still my full coverage. I haven't gotten back to it in a while. All the others that have been called are completed. And then I've also completed these yellow ones, or ones, you know, that I've completed that have not been called yet. So if you look at this row, if I finish my line on Dogwood lace, as soon as this one is called number 7, I will have a bingo. Or as soon as this one is called, which is Crystal Christmas, and I can do 10 hours on it, I'll have a bingo this way. So I'm excited that I'm close to a bingo in 2 areas. So hopefully I'll have one soon, you never know. But I'm keeping track and I'm loving it, and I can't wait to start putting my bingo board together for Whip Go. Next year, I'm definitely going to do this again. It's so much fun. I'm still doing prompts, as you know, the 24 hours of cross stitch, acrostic I'm still doing, and I'm doing the monthly magazine challenge acrostic. And so those help me decide which one of my whips I'm going to pull out next to work on. And then once I hit all the prompts in the week, I just pick out the whips that I haven't been able to use. And it helps me touch everything quite often. I have decided, I've looked and I have 18 whips right now, which is one of those larger numbers. I'm getting to the point where it's harder to get any productive work on every one of them every month. And so I have decided to pick out a couple of focus pieces once we get moved and settled, and try to, do like I've done in the past, where I have a focus for 2 or 3 days that week, and then I do other things. And so I'm looking forward to that. This month in July is Christmas in July, and so I had hoped to do that with all my Christmas pieces, and I started with Giggles in the Snow. And so this week now, starting today, if I get any stitching time at all, I should be picking up one of my Christmas pieces and give it some love. But I have plans for the day, and so I will hopefully get to stitch a little bit tonight. And I try to do that last thing to relax. And that's probably how a lot of you function. If you're working full time, that's the only time you have. So I'm with you. I'm right there with you. And I feel for you, because I sure do wish I had a lot more time to stitch. But I'm enjoying every moment I get. And I hope you are too. Happy stitching, everybody. Hi everyone, welcome. This is Dina, and it is July 14th. It is a Wednesday, and I am here to show you a fully finished object today. I've been packing up a little bit. Sorry, low battery. I've been packing up a little bit in my stitching room this week, and I'm getting close to having to make a decision on what I'm going to keep out the stitch for the next couple of weeks until we move, and then maybe another week or 2 until I can get my craft room situated. So I was looking around at what I had hanging around to pack, and what was kind of in between, and things that were in progress. And I was talking with my friend Glow yesterday, and I talked to her about, this was supposed to be Jolly July or Christmas in July stitching, and I was trying to stitch on my Christmas pieces at least once a week. And then I just am having a hard time concentrating on that. There are intricate pieces like the Nativity and Giggles in the Snow and my Haid, and I'm just not concentrating well enough. I have all these lists in my head of things I need to do when I'm stitching. I have so little time right now that I think I'm going to have to shelve that idea for this month. So instead, I decided what would make sense for me to be able to carry quickly, easily, that's transportable, that I can stitch in a few minutes at a time, something that I can look at pretty easily and it not be difficult. And I decided that I am going to stitch on about 4 projects in the next week or 2. I'm going to work on Our Story. I'm going to work, which is a new start recently. I'm going to continue to work on Dog Lessons for People. And I think I'm going to take a couple of others that are smaller and easy to deal with. My Dogwood Lace is an easy monochromatic piece. And I'm thinking that might be a good one to take with me. But as I was looking around on my stitching table and in my stitching area to decide how I'm going to pack up my other stitching supplies, like all my fabrics and my patterns and my kitted projects and things like that, I noticed that I had a finish that I had purchased things to fully finish it with and hadn't done it yet. I had fully intended to do it before now, and I'd actually said to you I thought I was going to try to do it over a weekend, and then unfortunately that weekend was spent over at the new house trying to take measurements and all kinds of things, and I didn't get around to finishing it. So today I'm happy to share with you my block party WOOF, and this is it. So I am thrilled to death with how it turned out. Just thrilled. Cannot tell you enough how happy I am. I was hoping it would all be, you know, even and the ends would meet up well, and I do think that they did, and I'm just really happy about that. So I'm going to tell you a couple of things. I even have the pins to go with it. And I decided I would face the pins in the corner where my current puppy Coco is, because that will be the front for me. So this goes together very easily. When you do your back stitching around each of your squares and your long piece, that is what you stitch together, just whipping your thread underneath each of those stitches and pulling them together. You're not even piercing the fabric. And so that works out really well. But my friend Glow had actually given me an idea that she thought she might do when she does her block party. And that is to put a piece of finishing board in the bottom to give it a better flat bottom that will keep it from maybe tilting and help it to hold its square shape really well. So I had some board that I bought for finishing, and I cut the board just slightly smaller than my square because I didn't want to have to stretch it around it too hard. It just barely fits in there once it's stitched in. And so in order to put my board in there well, I did this in the opposite direction than what Kathy does, I believe, on her finishing tutorial. I believe Kathy puts the top on first and then puts the bottom on last. I did mine just the opposite because I wanted to be able to put my bottom on here and stitch it up the sides so that I had a little bowl to set that board in, and that way it would hold it in there just nice and fine. And then I stitched around the top and left a little piece unstitched, stuffed it full, Bonna, lofted. And I even have the top just slightly domed. I'm really happy about that. And then I just finished stitching to the rest of the corner and just ran my thread through several times on down the line and cut it off. So it looks nice and neat. You can't see any start and stop on the top. And I think the bottom looks really, really good. So this is my block party pincushion WOOF. I think it's delightful. Now I have a confession to make. When I was stitching this on a scrap of fabric, I was afraid I was going to run out of room. And when I got to this little puppy here, there was a doghouse starting right here. And on this page, there's a doghouse on this side, and it actually is what you stitch up in the middle. It meets right here in the corner. My problem was I didn't have enough room on this end to start it properly, and I wasn't sure I'd have enough room on this side to end it properly. So I just took my fire hydrant and moved it down a little bit to fill in the space a little more, and I just left that as a nice connector. So I didn't have to worry about whether or not I had matched everything up perfectly, but I did, and so I'm happy to know that. And my next one I won't be so worried about, but I'm quite pleased with it. So there's WOOF. my little dog block party. All my 4 puppies with their names. So I am ready to share this pattern. And the good news for you is I did not use the little wool felt because I personalized my top and put my little puppy's names in the middle, and that's where the felt goes. So I've saved the felt and I'm putting it with the pattern. So when you get this pattern, you get the pattern and you'll get the felt to go with it for your center. So you won't even have to look for that. It'll be here with your pattern. So in the comments, if you want to put your name in for this pattern, this hands-on design pattern, block party, WOOF, all you have to do is use the word WOOF, W-O-O-F, in a comment, and I will use the random comment picker, and I will select the winner the next time I'm able to film a video. I would like to mention that we have been trying to start our internet access at our new home on the day we move, and apparently there is some sort of a backlog. A lot of moving going on, a lot of houses being sold here, a lot of people moving in. We are not going to be able to get our internet set up until September, and the range they gave us was September 4th to the 27th, almost the entire month of September. Now, I will be able to use my phone as a hotspot just to do my email and to handle, a few things like that. But I won't have internet to upload a movie. I won't have internet to watch FlossTube very well. So I just want to let you know that in case it's a little bit of a time between this video that you're seeing now, which I will try to upload before we move, and the next one, which would be after we move. So be patient. We have a little bit of transitioning going on, but everything else is going great. I'm so delighted to get to share with you my fully finished object, and thank you for letting me share it with you. And hopefully today, if I have time, I'll be able to come back and share some more stitching with you. You can see it behind me. I've gotten started on my Little Sheep Virtues, this block here. I'm about, maybe not quite halfway there. I would love to be able to finish that today. And by the way, this is a piece that I think I'm going to keep out and work on because it's easier to read the patterns, and they're quick stitches, and I'm probably going to keep this out. It may be the only one on my roller frames that I keep out to carry with me to stitch in the next couple of weeks. So you may get to see this one a little bit more than I had planned because I think that'll be a good one for me to take. All right, I'll talk to you soon. In the meantime, happy stitching, everybody. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Coco's here with me. You may hear her huffing at me because she wants me to play. But I just wanted to come in real quick and give you an update on my stitching today. It is Wednesday, the 14th of July still, and I finished my friendship block on my Little Sheep Virtues. So there's that one. I haven't put the button on this one because I didn't pull it out yet to put it on there, but like I did this one. But I'm gonna probably start another one of the blocks if I have an opportunity later this week. So I just wanted to show you how far I've gotten on it and let you see that. I think that's a really pretty one. I did use Shabby Sheep as it's a classic Colorworks variegated thread, and I used it for the sheep. There's the Shabby Sheep. So it has a different color. And I did this one diagonal stitching, and I did this one straight across. So it striped it a little differently so they would look different. But I hope you like it, and I'll try to show you more of my stitching as I get a chance to do it. In the meantime, you guys have a great evening, and I'll talk to you soon. Happy stitching. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Dina, and this is Saturday, July 17th, and I'm here to give you an update on my stitching. I had just in probably just the previous segment to this one let you know that I'm probably going to abandon my Christmas in July theme this year because of the move. A lot of my Christmas pieces, as I mentioned, were very intricate, complicated patterns that I really needed to concentrate on. And I had decided that I wanted to hold out projects that are easier to stitch. The patterns are simpler or easier to read, not quite so intricate. And I named several that I was going to keep out, and I have done that. And I have packed away in a big box over here all my current WIPs. And I had a moment. Oh, it was hard to put those away because that's saying I'm not going to touch those for at least 2 to 3 weeks, maybe longer, because we're packing up the last couple of weeks here, getting everything ready to move, and then we'll be moving, and then we'll be unpacking and getting settled in. So I think realistically, I could expect to not see those for about 3 to 4 weeks. And it was painful, y'all. I missed them already, and I just packed them up yesterday. Anyway, I have been working on my Little Sheep Virtues remix. I call it the remix because it's a redo of all the Little Sheep Virtues, all 12 that I did in an Afghan a long time ago, almost over a year now ago. And I also wanted to mix it up by putting the Country Cottage Needleworks piece in the middle. I know other people have done it, and I thought it was beautiful, and I wanted to do it, and I wanted to do it as a companion piece for my Afghan and put it in the same room. As it turns out, it's going to be in my guest room in my new home. I'm pretty excited about that. And so that prompted me to really look at what would it take to finish it. And for 2 blocks in a row, I finished them really easily. Very, very easy stitching. I don't know why. They just seemed to go quicker than others had been. And then I got all excited this morning because I was starting the very last block of the Sheep Virtues. And I thought, this is great. I'm almost done. It has the most stitching of any of them, I do believe. Anyway, isn't that always the way when you get to the very end? So as I was stitching that bottom row, I was also attaching the called for buttons for each of the blocks. So today I pulled out all the stops. I finished my project, and kudos to my husband and son because they have been so kind today. I have packed probably 3 or 4 big boxes today, and that's all the packing I've done. My husband, said, "What do you want to get done today?" And I told him, and he said, "Well, that'll be easy to accomplish." And then I said, "And then I want to finish my project I'm working on, my stitching project, so I could pack all of it away." And he kind of grinned, and he said, "Well, I think you should do that too." So he hasn't been fussing at me at all today about, not packing as much as maybe I should have. But I'm going to go pack now that I've finished because it's actually only about 7 o'clock at night. I am thrilled. So here is my Little Sheep Virtues remix, complete with buttons. With the border that I designed myself. More on that in a minute. I think it turned out very well. I'm very happy with it. Very, very happy with it. And I love all the little buttons on it. I think they're precious. I did move a few around. I didn't place them all exactly as they were called for. And I'll tell you where I moved them. I moved one of these bees because it was way down here over the heart of the word, which I'm not considering the word part of the scene itself. So instead, I put one bee at the top of the flowers, and I put one bee kind of between the lamb, the sheep, and the flower, so that they're pollinating. You know, they're going around the flowers. So that was one change I did. Another change that I did with the actual buttons is that I put the button for gratitude. It's a fall leaf, and it was down in between the two middle sheep as if it had fallen, and you know, it was there on the ground. But I decided that I would put it at the top instead of stitching a heart-shaped doodad in the middle of that vine of leaves. I just put the leaf up there with the other leaves. So I just thought it kind of fit better, I guess. So there you have that. Now, let me talk a little bit about this border. Please don't try to copy this border. I'm not sure it's a good idea. And the reason I say that is I found some problems with it. I didn't realize there were going to be problems. First time I've done a border, I probably won't do one like this again where I go in the middle. But right here, I made a mistake and I put a border around the square in addition to the one at the bottom and the top. And I shouldn't have done that. I should have just left it with a border. I should have just carried it on down here, but I didn't know how to do it otherwise. So anyway, it wound up taking away some space, several stitches of space, and I had to shorten these two patterns in order to make them fit. Now that was easy enough to do. I could take out a few stitches from the vine and a few stitches from the tree limb, you know, the trunk of the tree and things like that. This birdhouse pole had to be shortened, and I made it work. But when I got down to this bottom border, when I did the very first one, which was this one, I realized, I counted, thank goodness, I counted because I'd had a problem up here. I counted and I found out I was 5 stitches too short in that square to have it fit. So for every one of these 5 on the bottom, I had to take out 5 lines of stitching on every one of them. So I immediately took out empty spaces between all the layers and had them have only one space or none to try to get my 5 lines. Or if there was a border at the bottom, like this was a book and it had an extra row in it, and it had the initials ABC actually stitched in the book because there was enough room for it, and when I took a line out there wasn't, so I had to leave the ABC off. But look at that, I'm so tickled with how they came out because they all look fine. I don't think I lost any of the integrity of the piece at all. I think you can I left the words as big as I could. In most cases, the capital letters and the big, tall, like D's or B's or P's, you know, those kinds of things. They were missing one of their letters tall. You know, they're one letter shorter than they would have been. But these are things you learn as you go. When I got to the end, I thought I had taken out plenty. I thought I had counted and counted and counted. And when I got up to here to do this last part, I did not have enough room because I couldn't take out any lines in that sheep and keep the integrity of the pattern in the sheep. He had to be that tall. So I didn't have room up here for the little hanging down blingy things that were there, you know, that looked like little flowers or houses or something. So instead, I just took the kind of the idea of the vine, and I kept the leaves, and I just added some red berries up there to put that little pop of red in there because that was the only place that had red in the original pattern for that one. And so I got a nod to that, and that was okay. But truthfully, unless you've seen the original patterns, I don't think you could tell any difference. So there it is again, my little sheep virtues. I'm really, really pleased with it. And now I get to calculate all this up for my finish for Stitch from Stash because I haven't been counting them as individual finishes. I wanted to do the whole thing. So I'll be doing that. My husband just got home with Coco, so I guess I better go see how their walk went. But thanks for letting me share my finish with you. And hopefully I'll be able to come back and talk with you later on this weekend about my plans going forward. Happy stitching, everyone. Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Dina, and I'm here to share with you just a little bit of stitching that I was able to get done today. It's still Sunday, the 18th of July. So I was working on a prompt, and I decided I would go ahead and just pull one of the few whips that I hadn't put in the storage box yet because it just wouldn't fit in there, and it's called Sleepy Hollow. So today, I didn't do that much on it. I only did 334 stitches on it. But I worked on the horse right here, the horse's leg. I did all of that lighter and medium gray, which is a shadow in there, and the rest of this leg right here, because it was, this blanket was the last thing that I had stitched right there. So that's all I got done today, but it met my prompt. And it allowed me to touch this piece once more, which I was really tickled about. So I have had to take my magazine monthly challenge from my acrostic, the July acrostic Jolly. I've had to change it up because I packed away a lot of the whips I had identified for that. And I also had to change up my 24 hours of cross stitch acrostic to be able to finish it with the whips that I have still out. So I'll show you what I have out. That little box right there that's not even full. That's all I have left that I have out. Most of them are small, or their fabric and everything fits in a project bag. And so that way I've got everything I need right there, which will be easy to pull out and work on when I need to. Isn't it empty in here? It feels empty. It sounds a little echoey to me, but anyway. So that's what I've been doing today. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to recover the bottom of a couch. Coco, when she was a puppy, loved to go under the couch after toys and sleep under the couch. And unbeknownst to me, she was chewing on the fabric under the couch, and it's pulled away almost all the way across one side. So my husband cut it off for me today. I've got my fabric ready, and while she's at the groomer's tomorrow, I will have his assistance, and we will reapply the under fabric on the bottom of the couch and get that ready to move. But it's getting close. My husband looked at me yesterday and he said, 2 weeks from today, we'll be moving. The closing will be over. We'll be moving. I can't wait. I'm very excited. But I'm going to let you get back to what you were doing. I just wanted to show you that little bit of stitching, give you an update on what we've been working on, and tell you to have a great week coming up. I hope you'll have a fabulous week of stitching, and I hope I get to do some too. Happy stitching. Good night, everybody. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. This is Gina. I'll try to speak up a little bit because I don't have my microphone with me this evening. It's packed. It's ready to go. Anyway, we're about a week away from moving. So we are scheduled to close on Friday, and then we'll move Saturday morning. So wish us well. Thank you for those that already have. I appreciate it. So what have I been working on? I have been working on little bits and pieces. I have not been able to work on anything for any great amount of time. And so I took a project that my friend Glow and I were stitching as a Sal. She found it and asked if I'd like to do it with her and was kind enough to gift me the pattern. And so it's called Our Story. It's by one of our favorite designers. She and I share a love for Brenda Gervais. And so this is what the original looks like. Glow sent me a picture of her finish, and it is beautiful. She did it on a gorgeous gray fabric and changed the colors a bit, and it is really, really beautiful. I also changed the colors on mine because I wanted it to reflect our new home. And so I changed this house from a white house to a red brick house. Had to change the color on the door and a few things there. I also had a bit of a problem in that my O is a little bit off and has shifted too much this way. So my little heart isn't centered over the house. It's in the O, but I had to reposition it a different place. But I think that's the only place I got off, and I didn't want to tear it all out. So here is my home where our story begins. I did mine on the Summer Skies. It's a Lugana, and it is I'm thinking it's a 32 count. I'm not sure, but I think that's what it is. Anyway, I think it's lovely. I think the color that I used, heirloom gold for the lettering, shows up beautifully on here. And I really wanted to pop a pink for my flowers, so I picked a hand-dyed pink for that. I don't even know the color right now, but the heart is in pomegranate and the house is in old red brick. So love that. I think it's a beautiful piece. I think it's gonna look great in my new home. I haven't decided how I'm gonna finish it yet. I haven't decided if it's gonna be a pillow, like my Project Quarantine, because I think it would make a similar size pillow and they might look nice together. Anyway, there is my home where our story begins. And I love how that old red brick is variegated and just gives a little character to that house. So there's mine. Thank you, Glow. It was a wonderful stitch. I'm so tickled to be able to finish it before we move. I now have to put away the last bit of my stitching paraphernalia, that I've been using on this piece. Well, I'll let you go. I'm gonna check probably check just to make sure I don't have enough recording to make it go too long, because I would like to film maybe one more time next week before we move, because there's going to be a bit of a gap because we will be closing and moving, and then it'll take me a few days to get my house back in order, at least enough to even function before I can really think about recording and putting up a video. So maybe a little bit. So hang in there, and I hope that that you enjoy your stitching. In the meantime, I'll miss you. I'll try to be watching you. I have gotten so far behind on FlossTube because I haven't been in here watching it every day like I usually do. But I will tell you, my husband taught Coco a new trick today, and I filmed it. So you'll have some funny footage of her at the end. It's Coco being a good example for all little doggies, letting her daddy floss her teeth. It's hysterical. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it. I will put that at the end of the video. In the meantime, everybody, happy stitching.
packing tape and Okay, you stopped. Do you want to keep going? Come on. You don't want to go any further? Are you ready to go home? Okay, let's go home. Coco is sniffing the truck for drugs. Let's floss your teeth. Floss your teeth. Floss your teeth. That's a good girl. Floss your teeth. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Put it all the way through.